Hello, welcome or welcome back to my podcast. My name is Arielle. Let me just readjust here. Hi. And on this podcast, I talk a lot about my feelings because I've spent years dissociating from them and not wanting to really dig into them, which is difficult. And it kind of ties into what I want to talk about in this episode, which is self-love. And more than that, having a commitment to yourself, having a relationship with yourself. The concept of self-love is really weird just because when it comes down to it, are you when you're by yourself, are you gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna spend 5 minutes to love myself? So I'm not exaggerating. I really did not love myself. And I know that because I wasn't taking enough care with myself. I was constantly living in survival mode. You end up being the last thing on your priority list because you need to make sure you're just surviving in the world. And at the end of the day, love to you means getting love from other people. Well, here are some ways to start building self-love. And those ways are through committing to yourself and building an actual relationship with yourself. It's not dumb to start taking care of yourself. And for some reason, and I know that sounds harsh, for some reason, we hear self-love, like it's the dumbest thing to love yourself. And that is the first one. Stop talking down to yourself. Stop being abusive to yourself. Don't be toxic to yourself and criticize yourself all the time. So it's really hard for me to build self-love because I am always in a state of self-criticism. And I will say I take pride in the fact that I'm always willing to be self-aware. I'm always willing to think about what I can change, but I don't spend enough time accepting how I am now. And I feel like I'm constantly living in the expectation of what I want to be. And not only that, but if I'm always living in this constant state of needing to change myself, I'll only accept that non-present future version of myself. So what I'm telling myself, if I do that over and over again, is I'm not loving the person right now. The person who's doing the hard work to become that future perfect person that we're all gonna love later that isn't her right now. And that's really sad. That's really sad for current me who is working hard to become the more lovable me. That's so this girl is the reason why that one is going to exist. This is funny. Let's keep comparing it to relationships you have romantically. Do you want to be with a partner who is constantly criticizing who you are right now? Sure, they can help you out. They can help you grow as you can help yourself grow. But if your partner's always saying you should do this, you should look like this, I like you with your hair like this, when you dress like this, it's if you're with a partner like that for too long, you'll start to think, they don't like me for who I am. They don't accept me for who I am. And after a while, you'll realize I have to change into a completely different person to be in a loving relationship with this person. And I'll always feel on edge. And it's that's kind of the same thing you would be doing to yourself. Also, taking it to a deeper level, you wouldn't want to be around a person who is always basically abusive to you, who is always putting you down, calling you stupid, making you feel shame, making you feel like you're less than. How are you ever going to be happy with the present you? That's where the love exactly needs to come in. If you realize that self-love is being okay with the person that you are right now and having compassion for them. Okay, now that you've learned that you do indeed want to be around yourself, that you want to accept yourself in the present, you do have to draw some boundaries around what you'll accept and what you won't accept. So, just like a committed relationship, you won't accept cheating or distractions, too many distractions, right? So, think about what about your relationship with yourself? Well, I want to commit to myself and my goals. I want to commit to working on my passion projects, to exercising regularly, to eating foods that make me feel good, to spending time with people that I want to, and to resting and sleeping enough. But I'm cheating on all of those goals if I am distracting myself with things like, oh, I'm actually going to doom scroll on my phone for like 2 hours instead of spending time on my projects. Like, I'm actually going to go, I don't know, eat junk food instead of eating the food that'll make my body feel better. There are so many different ways that you can draw boundaries around your own actions and how you want to treat yourself. So, that starts with making sure that you have a regular schedule, and you don't have to make it super rigid at first. You can try to add on habits. Just keep trying to implement your habits. Remember to set boundaries around your distractions and basically around other people draining from your energy. So you do take a lot of energy from yourself, a lot of time from yourself when you're trying to care about other people, when you are allowing them to seep into your you time. Try out the different love languages with yourself. Are you familiar with those? So, just based on one sort of concept, there are 5 love languages. They are acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch. What are the other ones? Give me one moment. Receiving gifts and quality time. So, translated into a self-love, self-relationship way, spending quality time with yourself is doing something that I've been starting to do. Take yourself on little trips and on little solo dates. Like, I don't know, I have never been opposed to the idea of sitting in a movie theater by yourself and just like and just chilling. Like, I have done that I think twice before. And as like a woman, like I did this mostly in my 20s. As a woman in her 20s sitting down in a movie theater by herself, for some reason people do look at you like, "Oh, how sad. Did her date stand her up? What?" And it's like, "No, I just I just wanted to chill, not do that much, but have a big screen where I can enjoy a movie." And it's chill and it's cool. Plus, it gets you out of your comfort zone. Like doing stuff, spending time with yourself solo, being out in the world solo allows you to feel like you're allowed to be out in the world as yourself without needing anybody else around you to tell you how to act or where to go or who to be, you know? Like, I just took myself to the beach the other day and it was awesome. Like, I went and got some poke, I sat down at the beach, I journaled a little bit. I basically got myself lunch and chatted with myself. And it was wonderful. And it's a lot better than when I'm on a bad date with somebody who doesn't really want to listen, who, I don't know, like, isn't the best quality time. So, spend more quality time with yourself. You have the same interests and the same pet peeves. Okay, words of affirmation is kind of what we were talking about earlier. Affirm to yourself that, what you're saying to yourself, your own feelings are valid. Also, feel free to just like do affirmations. Like, I am worthy. I am lovable. I know how lame it feels, but like, wouldn't you rather be reprogramming your mind to think and feel the way that you want to? I think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, it's so lame to to do like affirmations or whatever." Like sometimes they don't always work if you're not feeling them, so that makes sense. But I don't think it's lame or cringy to actually make an effort to like yourself and to start thinking better about yourself. So, acts of service, that could definitely be, doing everyday things around the house for yourself and making sure that you're really starting to take care of those sort of physical things. And, it's stuff like make sure that you are cleaning up after yourself after making a mess in the kitchen or in the bathroom or in your bedroom or whatever. No, you don't have to be perfectly clean, but when you are somebody who is paying attention to your space, you're making it your own and you're basically showing more care for yourself. So you can organize things around your house. You can make an effort to tackle the things that you want to earlier. You can basically do the grunt work of stuff and be proud of yourself for doing it. Like make an effort to be somebody who's like, I'm going to take out the trash and I'm not going to think that it's such a like annoying task. And I'll make this a regular habit. Basically, you can do acts of service for yourself by making these everyday self care habits a part of your life. The next one is something that I think most of us, above all the things, would likely do, and that is giving ourselves gifts. So, yeah, totally go shopping. Like, buy yourself a little, like, knickknack of whatever you want. Like, buy yourself that novelty item that maybe you don't need, but every once in a while you buy yourself a novelty item. Like, put it in your budget to just, like, buy a happy thing, because I know for me, like, even when money is tight, I don't want to look at all my money and just be like, that's all going to me surviving in the world. Like, I want to be able to spend money and say, like, I got to spend on something that just made me happy and wasn't just for the purpose of surviving. That's like, I love, I'm someone who can geek out a little bit. So I love getting Funko Pops of like my favorite like TV shows or whatever. I love like giving myself like, a gift of like a little trinket, a piece of jewelry, something like that. Sometimes they don't have to be pricey, but it's like things that are personalized that are very you can gift yourself. And then the last one, physical touch, can mean what you want it to mean, but let's say more like just to be clean, I think we should learn to be in our bodies and present in our bodies. This is something that I'm currently learning how to do because most of me lives in my head, I think. And I'm just now starting to become more present with how my body moves. So even though I'm someone who's always really exercised, I think I was always chasing the goal of running faster when I was doing distance running or, just focused on what people think of me and my body image. And I wasn't focused on how I'm actually feeling. Like, am I feeling tense right now? Okay, well, I can make an effort to stretch, to get a massage. I can also rest more. I can sleep more. And also just being aware of your feelings, as I've been saying on and on again, like being in touch with what your body is really trying to tell you with its different feelings. Kind of sidebar, but I recently went to a life coach who, yep, I did, who was kind of a Reiki healer, and she had me do what's called somatic body communication, somatic body work. So I was telling her I was super tense in so many areas, and she was like, why don't you sit down and talk to your body and ask it what it needs and why it feels that way? And so I had this conversation with my body, and it was basically saying that it felt unsafe. And so because of that, all of my energy and all my sense of presence just ended up living in my head because that was the safest way for me to protect myself. And so when I finally have started to come down into my body, it's like I've become more aware of different sensations, and like also how super hyper aware of like how bad my posture had been and how much better it feels when I start to release. So being in your body and also starting to embody yourself and being present is really a love language, because you're not just your brain, you're also not just your soul's feelings. You are here physically in the 3D realm to interact with this world. So be in your body, also accept it for its size and shape and whatever is going on with it. And something I've been trying to tell myself is like to accept my body and to be okay with it, and also to nurture it even when it doesn't feel the best. That's probably when you need to nurture it the most, because I'll be really critical of the fact that like, oh, I didn't like, my body feels like crap today, or my shoulders, they're always hunched over. And it's like, I'm just making my shoulders feel worse by saying like, oh, they're always like that. Be with your body and be in the 3D and be appreciative with the body that you have in the 3D. And the hair is coming down because I'm always messing with my hair. Okay. And the last thing that I've been trying to do is I've been trying to build confidence in myself, which when translated to a committed relationship is also building trust with myself. How do you build trust? Like it goes back to making sure that you do follow through on your habits and the promises you have with yourself. So I think self-confidence comes from building trust in oneself. And to compare it to a relationship, you build trust with a partner because of habits and actions over time. And also those habits and actions show what type of values that person upholds. So in order to not always feel self-conscious that, oh, I'm going to look really, I don't know, stupid, or like people won't like me, or having all these insecurities, well, maybe I can trust the fact that I think I'm generally a good person. I think that I'm generally a person who makes an effort and cares about people and does think things through as much as she can. And I will trust in the fact that I do have those values in me. And I want to have trust in myself and have confidence in the fact that I can uphold the things that I want to, and that relationship I have to myself. I also think that I can trust myself to be someone who can work on change if I need it. I think I can have a little bit of more faith in my own progress and my ability to transform, because I've lived for this many years, and no matter what age you're at, you have transformed, you have learned something, you have evolved. So I am building trust and confidence in the fact that I will constantly be trying to be better in somewhat of a perfectionist way, but mostly in a way where I'm gaining more wisdom. Yeah. Self-love is a journey. It's a practice. Just like love and other relationships with other people are. Be patient with yourself. And I think that's loving already. Okay, well, until next time, peace and love. Bye-bye. Okay.